Greetings and welcome to this episode of Happenings at 2715. My name is Kurt Gibson, and on our show today, we'll be joined by Amy Whitlock, the esports coach at Oswego East High School. Esports is one of the fastest growing programs in high schools, colleges, and even on the professional level. Esports, as participants will tell you, is about a lot more than just playing video games. The skills taught through competition mirror those learned by students in other athletic and activity programs, and the classroom tie-ins translate exceptionally well for 21st century career preparation. In today's episode, Amy and I will discuss some of these very ideas. Amy, welcome to Happenings.
Hi, Kurt. Thanks for having me on. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Amy, why don't we start by having you just introduce yourself to our audience and maybe talk to us a little bit about how you got involved with esports at Oswego East.
Okay. My name is Amy Whitlock, as you said, and I teach French at Oswego East High School. I started with club sponsorship for video games and gaming in general. We did tabletop games and video games. And from there, we had an administrator at the district level, the assistant superintendent, made a request from both high schools to start a team for League of Legends specifically. And since I was the sponsor for the video game and tabletop gaming club, the administration at my building came to me and asked me if I would be interested in creating a competitive team and starting that. And I was interested. I didn't know anything about League of Legends. I had to look it up on my own. And it was interesting that I happened to be looking it up during my plan period, and a student who just was sitting in my room with his friends during the plan period saw it on the screen, and he said, "I know, my brother plays that game." And I asked him, "Can you tell me, does your brother know other people at this school who play this game?" And by the next day, I had about 35 kids who played, all come to my classroom to see if they could be on this team.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's great. Maybe League of Legends, from my very limited stepping the toe into the water of the esports world, is a very popular game. Why don't you just give our audience a real quick thumbnail of what League of Legends is, what kind of game it is, what the goal is, kind of thing?
Sure. So League of Legends is a MOBA, or a multi-online battle arena. So it's a multiplayer online battle arena, which is a strategy game, a real-time strategy game that's kind of like Capture the Flag, for lack of a better word. So if you're familiar with Capture the Flag, each team has a base, and it is the objective to get to the other team's base, and they have like a little crystal sitting there, and you have to destroy the crystal. And you choose between over 100 different champions to build a team of 5 people who each have a specific role on the team. And those players have to strategize and build a team comp that is good against the other team.
Let's explore that idea, because I think when I hear you describe that, it really gets to the potentially one of the hearts of the question here. And from your experiences with the esports team at Oswego, what are some of the the benefits you've seen students get out of their participation?
The students who play our esports team, they used to, at least when they start playing, they play in solo queue. So they play by themselves, and they generally do not use a mic, but they use communication devices within the game. But when we brought it to the school, we had to put these students on headsets, and they had to develop strategies for how they were going to participate together and work together in this game to get the objective at the end of the game. So they had to kind of switch their mentality from being the solo queue player to being a player on a team that they weren't used to that yet.
Yeah, so they're solving problems. It just happened to be in the context of a video game, but we know that in other sports and activities, people come together And the problem might be, how do we advance football over the goal line? How do we spike the volleyball and get a point? It could be any number of things, but we're working together, and everybody's got a different role and responsibility. And if we all do our role and responsibility well, we accomplish our goal.
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah, just in a little different context. So as we think, and the reason why you and I are talking today, I mentioned in our opening, esports is rapidly growing in popularity around the world at high school, college, and even the professional level. And it's something that the IHSA Board of Directors has decided to form an advisory committee on, to sort of monitor trends and perhaps put some safeguards and other measures in place, so that if a day comes when participation numbers warrant, there could even be an esports state tournament sponsored by IHSA. So as we look into the future a little bit, why don't you share with our audience what you think some of the reasons would be, beyond just popularity, but what might be some of the reasons association would want to look at offering a new program in esports to its membership?
I think that esports is an important part of a lot of students' lives. The video game itself is very important. Not only does it help them with communication, but a lot of these students may not be involved in any other school activity. They're not interested necessarily in playing a traditional sport. They might be in a gaming club, but not many schools offer those. So they go home and they stay by themselves and they play this game. Where if this were part of the high school experience, you've got more engagement in school. You can bring pride to your school by doing something that you're really good at. If you're a very good gamer, you're a good strategy, your communication is good, you can be really successful, and you can show that off as being a member of Oswego East High School. I have a jersey that has my name on it, that has the school symbol on it, and I get my picture taken at the trophy case, and that's all really important to students. And I think that these students have never had that dream, for lack of a better word. They've never had that dream before, and now all of a sudden the thing that they're good at is something that the school is focusing on. I think that esports is also incredibly inclusive and diverse, and any gender, any race, anyone can play, and they can all play together. You don't have to have separate teams for anyone. Everyone can play. We've just noticed all that engagement in our school just in the 5 years we've had a team.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. I think you're spot on there. You mentioned something earlier in our interview, and I'll get you out of here on this question. You mentioned that when you got started, before you got started in esports, you were in charge of the gaming club, or whatever we want to say, there at Oswego East, and that include table games. You're playing table games, you're learning table games, you're teaching strategy and critical thinking and things of that nature. And it reminds me of how important that can also be at home, to play games with your family. So I'm going to ask you, do you have a favorite game either that you played with your family growing up, or you like to play with your family now?
Oh my gosh, I play so many games. So many games. We aren't just video gamers at my house. My daughters both play video games. My oldest is actually focusing, so when she gets to high school, I'm hoping that by the time she gets to high school that it will be an IHSA, activity, and she will have a team she can be on. But we play Settlers of Catan. We play Apples to Apples. We play Exploding Kittens. I mean, we play just about every card game out there. We play it. My kids and myself, we're all very big fans of games and playful learning. It's amazing what you pick up by just the strategies that you need to use in a game.
Right. Yeah. We at our house now, we've played all those games as my boys have grown up. Right now, we really like Sequence. We like a good game of Yahtzee, and a lot of card games. So but not only do you learn strategies, but there's something about just being with your family and being able to connect in a way that's just, like you said, more playful, more interactive, more just allowing a person to develop their personality. So
right, it's all true.
Yeah. Well, Amy, thanks for sharing all of this with our audience today. As an emerging activity, esports appears to be heading towards formal recognition from the IHSA in the next few years, and should that happen, it promises to be an exciting time in the association's history. So thanks again for joining us for this episode of Happenings at 2715. On behalf of our entire production team, we appreciate your support, and we look forward to meeting you again real soon over these same airwaves. Until then, support your local high school by attending one of its events.